I believe my Heisman ballot will be this at the end of the year. Now, I'm not saying that it would be this right now because Nico wouldn't be on it. And you only get 3 votes. So, but I've expanded it to 5 to be more interesting. So, first of all, can we go ahead and get Dillon Gabriel out of the way? Because I never thought he was going to win it. I kind of thought he was a placeholder for the award as the favorite in the beginning of the year. Caleb, I never thought Dillon Gabriel could win it. And I've said that before, and I think you would back me on that.
You have. So we'll get him out of the way. But I mean, he has started to come into his own. Is that fair to say after we criticized him early?
Yeah. I just think he'll be 3rd or 4th or 5th or 6th on the ballot. I just don't think he has any chance of being number 1. Never did. All right. The 4 that I think will be in my head when I fill out my ballot at the beginning of December will be 4 downs. Brought to you by Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Hahn.
4 downs. 4 questions. 4 answers. The Dave Hooker Show.
4
downs. A presentation of OffTheHookSports.com.
All right. Will Nico be on there? Are you excited? Are you still thinking Heisman opportunities? Go ahead and Caleb, if you can, give us the results of the poll question while Cooper Mays reminds us too. Oh, he doesn't remind us to do that.
Caleb, that's new tonight, by the way.
What's that?
Law and Order SVU is new tonight, for those who don't know.
Cooper Mays here. Hit like and subscribe.
Great. Update our poll question.
Okay, so according to our poll question, the question is, because of the college football playoff, I watch more football now, watch less, same.
Okay. Now, we got that out of the way. Let's get back to the Heisman. All right.
Coop here. First down.
That's a cheating question.
Yes. Nico Iamaleava at 4 is where I believe he will be at the end of the year. Not as much due to his play, but because of what Tennessee has. They can win on defense. That's not going to help his cause.
No. You know where I'm going with this. I'm still Nico at the top. I just don't think he's had the chance yet. I think coming off the bye, they are going to unleash Nico Iamaleava starting this week. And I think it starts this week. I thought it started in Oklahoma. I was wrong. And I'm just going to give you a quick stat of somebody that is very well known, a guy by the name of Johnny Manziel. Nico has a higher completion percentage and more yards per attempt through his first 4 games than Johnny Manziel did his first 4 games in 2012 when he won the Heisman.
NASCAR and Johnny Manziel. Who would have thought we would have gotten there?
Cooper Mays here. Second down.
Jackson Dart, Ole Miss. If you watch that Ole Miss game, that kid has heart, kept playing hard despite the fact that they had some odd game plan to try to out-physical Kentucky. They got beat around the whole time. He got beat around, but he continued to play hard. I still believe he has one of the best 2 arms in college football, along with Nico. Both accuracy, and I'm not even going to discuss arm strength unless it's a problem, okay, Carson Beck, because we got all caught up into arm strength last year. Oh, my gosh, you could throw an orange 5,000 yards. But the bottom line is everybody that we're talking about has adequate arm strength. Jackson Dart at 3, what say you?
Jackson Dart leads the nation in completion percentage, yards per attempt, adjusted yards per attempt, yards per game, and quarterback rating. I mean, the dude's amazing. So right now you're right. My only issue, Dave, is that again, you are what a Heisman voter should be, because you think about what you see watching ball and what they can actually do. But put your mind in the minds of actual Heisman voters, and do you think they're going to be fair to Jackson Dart, or are they going to look at things on paper too much?
Oh man, that's a lot to unpack. What do you mean on paper? Because I think on paper his numbers are going to be fantastic.
But they're going to overrate wins and the fact that he plays for Lane Kiffin.
I would hope. What Lane asked of his quarterbacks is a lot. Same for Josh Heupel. To me, I mean, excelling in those positions actually means more if you put up great numbers than being a caretaker like Stetson Bennett was at Georgia. Doesn't it?
I agree, but I don't think the voters see that. And also, again, I think that, look, Dart's numbers will come down somewhat, and I think people are going to hold against him his schedule strength of Ole Miss, and they're going to hold against him just the fact that I think Ole Miss has 3 to 4 losses coming.
Okay. Who will I have number 1 as far as number 2 on my list?
Tennessee center Cooper Mays here. Third down.
Cam Ward, Miami. And if something were to happen to my number 1 selection, I think he's kind of the default guy. I know you like him a little bit more than I do, but he's a placeholder, in my opinion, until he does something really special. And he probably only has that opportunity against Clemson. So his Heisman candidacy pretty much rests on that game, doesn't it?
Clemson? Probably. You're right. And
who else do they play? Can you pull up their schedule? Or I will.
Well, obviously they play Florida State, Dave, and I mean, that's a more. I'm trying to pull up their schedule now. I'm having some issues, actually. Funny enough,
right.
but what I will say,
yes,
yeah, Cam Ward is. Guys, if y'all, well, they also play Louisville, who's not a bad team, by the way. And Duke is undefeated, so just throwing some names out there.
Yeah,
All SEC center Cooper Mays here.
All right. So my number 1 is Jalen Milroe, and it's his to lose. It's his to lose. If he goes out there and balls out against Tennessee, Auburn, the rest of the teams on Alabama's schedule, I don't think anybody can catch him, and I think he might be that special. And you talk about Heisman voters. A lot of people are going to say, even if Nico Iamaleava and Jalen Milroe had the exact same impact on their team, Milroe's probably a better story because you have Kalen DeBoer taken over for Nick Saban. Well, let me ask you, what's the better story? First-time Heisman winner at a football school like Tennessee, or would it be the story of Jalen Milroe surviving a coaching change from the best coach of all time?
I honestly think that it would be the latter, and people would love that because everybody was ready to write off Jalen Milroe. I plead guilty. I did not think Kalen DeBoer's offense and Jalen Milroe could fit, and I thought it was a red flag when Kalen DeBoer said he would start Jalen Milroe in the summer.
Well, you weren't necessarily wrong, dude. I mean, Jalen Milroe would be okay in any system known to man. I don't care if we're talking about Tommy Frazier running the option or we're going run and shoot, quick reads. I mean, he has the impact that a Michael Vick or a Cam Newton has on that football team. And they're not likely going to have another quarterback like that coming up.
Well, what I thought was a red flag, though, was Kalen DeBoer runs an offshoot of the air raid. And to run the air raid, you have to, and you know this, Dave, even from Mike Leach's systems, whatever you want to say about him, whether or not you think the offense is a gimmick or not, the one thing a quarterback has to do is they have to read the whole field as an end of the air raid, don't they? You have to see the entire field, and every receiver is an option. Aren't they, in the air raid?
I agree with that.
Jalen Milroe, did he strike you as a guy that would go through his progressions and go through every option? That didn't seem like a fit. And Kalen DeBoer, and I still don't think that's a fit. But Kalen DeBoer totally revamped his offense to make Jalen Milroe more of a first or second read guy, which is anathema to the offense Kalen DeBoer runs. So I got to give him credit for doing that.
Well, but you say that he has to make a lot of reads, but here's the thing. You have to keep a spy in on him. So that puts you in man situations more oftentimes than you would like. And then you got a defensive back looking at his man, which you're supposed to do and running down the field, and Milroe scorches you. So then if they drop into a zone, I think they have the athletes to get open pretty quickly. So it's all
So you're saying the reads are, you're saying typically he can't make all the reads, but the reads are a heck of a lot easier for him right now because of his mobility and the athletes of the receivers.
Yes, and the way the defense has to react. I want to be sure and thank our friends at Varner Ford, local you can trust, innovation you can afford. Absolutely right. And Joe Newbert Collision Center for 50 years. Newbert Collision Center has been East Tennessee's best choice for quality repair work and fantastic customer service. So what's on the show tomorrow, Caleb Calhoun? I know we'll have
quick question before we do that real quick.
Yes, we'll have Ollie Lane on the program tomorrow. Yes.
Travis Hunter's out on your list right now? I know it's a projection, so it's about where they will be. You don't think he'll be on the list at the end of the year? You don't think he'll be in New York?
I don't think so. And I think it's unfair, but it's voters' minds on what they think about Deion. So even if he continues on this path, and I know he's in the top 3 among the odds, I think that will hurt him. I think
Do
he has-
voters
Hmm?
do voters decide who actually goes to New York, or is there a Heisman committee?
Well, no, it's basically like, okay, so sometimes they'll take 3, sometimes they'll take 5. And it's based off how close, I guess they've taken 4 before. It's based off how close you are to the top. In other words, they're not going to have a situation where some dude goes all the way to New York and he has absolutely no chance of winning, and it's a joke. I mean, so you don't say every year you're taking 5. That means it's a closer race. Whereas if you're taking 3, somebody or 2 people, in the case of, let's say, Charles Woodson and Peyton Manning, have separated themselves from the pack. So they just took 3 then. So, no, there's not a committee. It's up to us idiot voters.